Collier Wise. Here. Helwig. Here. Holland. Here. Humphrey. Here. Price. Here. Sorensen. Here. Ward. Here. Wilson. Mayor Powell. Here. Would everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. A motion, a second, to approve both sets of minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4, adoption agenda. Mike or John, do you know of any adjustments or corrections to the agenda? Okay. Motion, a second, to approve the agenda as printed. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Addressing the council. Persons addressing the council shall use the microphone at the podium. Please raise your hand to be recognized. Go to the podium and state your name and address. For items that are not on the agenda, members of the public may speak under visitor to be heard on any topic not on the agenda. Remarks are limited to 5 minutes and no decision will be made at this time. For agenda items, public testimony will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item. Public testimony will then be closed and the topic will be given to the governing body for possible action. At this point, only city council members and staff may discuss the current agenda item unless a council member moves to allow another person to speak and there's unanimous consent from the council. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the presiding officer at any time. At this time, we do have a proclamation, Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service Proclamation. And Julie, if you would read that, please.
Thank you. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to the advancement of civil rights and public service, he believed in a nation of freedom and justice for all, and challenged all citizens to help build a more perfect union and live up to the purpose and potential of America. And whereas Dr. King recognized that everyone can be great because everyone can serve, and during his lifetime encouraged all Americans to serve their neighbors and their communities. And whereas in 1994, Congress initiated the King Day of Service, a nationwide effort to transform the federal holiday honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. into a day of community service. Grounded in Dr. King's teachings that help solve social problems while focusing on bringing people together and breaking down the barriers that have divided us as a nation. And whereas hundreds of thousands of volunteers in cities and towns across the nation participate in King Day service projects in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Guam, and Puerto Rico. And whereas the King Day of Service, which falls on Monday, January 20th this year, is a time for the people of Vermillion to recognize Dr. King's teachings on advancing equality and opportunity for all by contributing their own time and talents in a day of service. And now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the governing body of the City of Vermillion, South Dakota, do hereby proclaim January 20th, 2020 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, and encourage our citizens to honor the memory of Dr. King, to put his teachings into action by participating in the King Day of Service. Dated at Vermillion, South Dakota, the 6th day of January, 2020.
Thank you, Julia. Travis, will you receive the proclamation?
Hi, hello. My name is Travis Littler. I live at 313 Prentice Avenue. And I'm currently serving as the chair of the Vermillion Human Relations Commission here for the city of Vermillion. And so I'm very happy to accept this proclamation tonight, not just on behalf of the Human Relations Commission, but also for Dr. Laura Renee Chandler at the Center for Diversity and Community at USD, and also Lamont Sellers, the Associate Vice President for Diversity at USD. With the Human Relations Commission, this year in the fall, we did a few educational workshops, and in the spring, we're going to continue that, doing community outreach educational programming. And then also with the Center for Diversity and Community, they have a program scheduled for Monday, January 20th, a day of service in the afternoon, and I will let Dr. Laura Renee Chandler talk about those details.
Good evening. So I will talk about our events for the actual day, MLK. On January 20th, we're collaborating with the Gallagher Center as well as the Office of Diversity, and we will lead a Kingian Nonviolence workshop that will take place in the Muck Ballroom on campus. And this is prior to students going out into the community, engaging in the day of service. It talks about the various principles and actions involved in Dr. King's philosophy of nonviolence. He gives us a lot of information about how to engage in and how to deal with conflict in both social situations and also in interpersonal interactions. And this is a recent addition to the day of service programming on campus. Previously, students would go into the community and engage in service and not necessarily talk about the philosophy that Dr. King propagated as far as nonviolence. So that's a new addition, and students were very happy that we added this last year. Last January was the first time that we did it, and so we'll be doing it for a second time this year. And then the Center for Diversity and Community, where I am the director, will actually be engaging the campus community in a week-long celebration, and we'll have various activities that go from Monday to Friday. Tuesday, we're inviting a speaker from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. His name is Tyler Perry. He's an assistant professor of African American history. He researches the use of canines from the period of enslavement to present day, and their use in segregation. And so he'll be giving a talk and engaging with our students, a very lively and engaging speaker, and so we're excited to invite him to campus. Wednesday, in the Center for Diversity and Community, we'll be hosting lunch with King, and so we'll be serving Dr. King's favorite lunch, his favorite dinner, actually, and as well as playing some video clips of his speeches and his talks. Thursday, we're collaborating with the Union of African American Students, and they will be hosting an open mic night in the Center for Diversity and Community. It'll sort of be open mic as well as trivia, so we'll be sharing information about Dr. King, and then the open mic night is a very popular event and activity on campus, and so we're excited to collaborate with the Union of African American Students during that week. And then on Friday, January 24th, we're working with the Office of Diversity to host a showing of Just Mercy, which is a recently released film in the Coyote Twin Theater downtown. So we're just excited to engage the community in a week-long celebration of Dr. King's life and memory.
Well, thank you very much for your support of this program. Appreciate it.
Yes, I'd be happy to. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that has anything that's not on tonight's agenda that they'd like to bring to the attention of the council? Anyone on the council have any item that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, then we'll move to item 6. Public hearing, retail on-off sale malt beverage and retail on-off sale wine license for R&D Management, LLC, for Alfredo Pizza at 831 East Cherry Street. And Mike, is that the current location of Little Italy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
The application was received for a retail on-off sale malt beverage and retail on-off sale wine and cider license from R&D Management, LLC, for Alfredo Pizza to be located at 831 East Cherry Street. The police Chief's report, notice of hearing are included in the packet. The retail on-off sale wine and cider license will be from the period from issuance until December 31st, 2020, while the on-off sale malt beverage license will be from the period of issuance to expire on June 30th, 2020. City Council has the ability to issue a license on two criteria: suitable applicant, suitable location. As to the suitable applicant, the stockholders of R&D Management, LLC, have submitted the information for the DCI background check. The police chief's memo noted that nothing was disqualifying criminal record as would apply under our city ordinance 11220. With respect to the location criteria, the city has previously issued a license to this location, being Little Italy's, both a malt beverage and a wine license. The application fee of $500 for the wine and cider license will be retained by the city. The $300 malt beverage license, half is retained by the city and half is to the state. Following input from the public hearing, the City Council will ask to make a decision on approval of denial of the retail on-off sale malt beverage and retail on-off sale wine and cider license for R&D Management, LLC, for Alfredo Pizza, date 31 East Cherry. I think Dale Hine, representing R&D Management's here, if there's questions.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Dale Hine, and I am the managing partner for R&D Management. We are extremely thrilled to be bringing Alfredo's franchise here to Vermillion. And a little bit of background, we have been in the bar and nightclub business since 1998. We have held 2 full liquor licenses in Woodbury County and Sioux City, Iowa. I have 56 letters of accreditation from the governor in Iowa. There was never one time over 8 years that we were stung for selling to minors cigarettes, liquor, or beer. We play by the rules, we do everything correctly, and we are excited to be able to apply for this license and be able to offer beer and wine to our guests.
Thank you much for choosing us to open. Julia, please.
I really appreciate you speaking on your record so far, but can you tell us what your plans are in terms of when you're thinking you might be opening, if you're looking for if you're doing any job openings, and what you're expecting in terms of the space, menu, anything like that you can tell us?
We are expecting to open by the end of the month. Things have changed a little bit because I got summoned for a grand jury in Union County this morning. I was literally number 10 picked. I think there were 38 people there, and they're calling number 7, number 8, number 9. And I thought, all right, number 10, Dale Hine, please step to the jury box. So there's a gentleman behind me that was very much trying to get out of it, and it wasn't working. So I thought, I'm just going to sit and this will be my grand jury. So the first full day will be January 27th. So I'm trying to figure out how to work within that schedule because we are just now beginning the hiring process. I can't say that I could have somebody there that morning because I don't know yet. We are currently hiring. I am talking to the building owner about space on the marquee out front to put a sign applying. We are, today, Wednesday and Thursday, we're having the interior painted. So I'm going to try and get that lined up for Friday so that we can do Friday through the weekend as the students are coming back, and hopefully be able to capture people coming up and down Cherry Street to see that, hey, we're coming and we're looking for some good people. So hopefully that'll help. And as far as the menu, if you haven't had Alfredo's Pizza, I can tell you I've done a lot of traveling, and it is the best pizza I've ever had. It's incredible. I have been eating Alfredo's Pizza for 40 years. When I was a kid, I grew up 4 blocks from the original Alfredo's Pizza on West 19th and Hamilton in Sioux City. Every Saturday, my friend and I would walk up and split a medium pizza. And here I am 40 years later, and still, it's just the best. People in Sioux City will wait an hour and a half, 2 hours for a pizza. I was there on Thursday night, working in the kitchen and learning the process, and one of the kids was answering the phones, and at that point, they were an hour and a half wait for a pizza, and not one person hung up or said no. So It's that good. And the other thing, too, is, as the gals in the office downstairs were asking, do you have good fettuccine Alfredo? It is out of this world. The pasta recipes have been tried and true. Alfredo's has been around for 60 years. It was started by Fred Lennon, Alfredo, back in 1960, right at 1960, I believe. So all the recipes are original. The spaghetti, the lasagna, there's all the pasta dishes are outstanding. We're adding a few things. They're not open for lunch. We will be open for lunch, so we are going to have a selection of both Italian and American sandwiches, salads available at lunch, as well as some of the best buffalo wings in South Dakota. So
Awesome. I live in the neighborhood, so I'm really excited.
I'll look forward to seeing you.
Will your menu be similar to the one near Hamilton?
It will. The only difference is, like I said, we will have awesome buffalo wings, and we'll have quite a few more sandwiches, and then we will also have a few more pasta dishes.
Any other comments or questions from the council? We don't have a motion. Second. Motion and a second to approve the license. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also like to say one more thing, if I could, before I leave. The process in South Dakota for applying for a license is quite different than Iowa. This gentleman, Mike Carlson, is outstanding to work with. 3 different trips to his office. First, I filled out the forms wrong because I didn't understand them. And he would literally walk me through every single time. He'd say, well, that's what we've got extras. Need to get an extra copy. Talked me through the entire thing, and he is an asset to this city. He's just outstanding to work with. I wanted to point that out.
Thank you. But he's tenured, so he can't leave.
You got all that in the minutes, Mike?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have no old business, so we'll turn to new business, and John's going to read the payroll resolution. I mean, he's going to...
I could, if that's
No, that's okay.
The council. This is an annual requirement. You've seen this before. By state statute, following the start of our fiscal year, you're required to publish the salary information for employees, elected officials, appointed officials for the coming year. We do have changes that might happen during the course of the year. We accomplish the public notification of that by placing that into the minutes that follow that sort of change. So that's the background for it. Generally speaking, it's about a 2.5% COLA for council members, non-union, and union employees. There's a few that are slightly more than that or slightly less as we were correcting some of the scales with these current union agreements, which expire at the end of 2021. I would note that it's all the same, the final version. We had 2 changes since that was sent out to you. We had a new firefighter join us, so we've added that individual to the payroll resolution that will be signed by the mayor if approved. And then we had 1 wage rate that was incorrect, and that one has been corrected in the final copy. And then quickly, thank you to Marty Washington. This is a long process. She tediously goes through this, working with all the department heads to get all this information correct. So I need to thank Marty for her diligent efforts in all this.
Thank you, John. Any comments, questions from the council?
I just have a comment, if I may.
Certainly.
That it just kind of stood out to me that whether they're a temporary, even maybe once or twice a week, or maybe just seasonal or whatever, in this community, our park and rec department, if I counted correctly, has something like 123 employees. And as I said, a lot of them are seasonal or even 1 event or 2, but so there is some employment provided, not all full-time, but it just stood out at me to see all those names. So thanks.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? Second. Motion and a second to approve the payroll resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Fuel quotes, Mike.
Should have the sheet sitting in front of you. We only received 1 fuel quote being from Vermillion Service on item 1, unleaded gasoline, $2.22. Item 2, 3,000 gallons in number 1 and number 2 diesel fuel dyed. The blended cost average is $2.40. Item 3 is 1,000 gallons in number 1 and number 2 diesel fuel clear. The blended cost $2.71. Recommend the only quote is Vermillion Service.
Thank you, Mike. Council? Motion and a second to approve the bid from Brunix. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is John, our city manager's report.
Just a couple items. A reminder that sidewalks are to be cleared within 24 hours after the end of a snow event. Our Christmas tree collection site is going to be open for one more week. We will be accepting live Christmas trees through Monday, January 13th, 2020. And it's the same location as previous years in the south side of Broadway, just west of Dakota Street. A couple of meetings coming up here. The Historic Preservation Commission will be meeting this Wednesday, January 8th at 9 a.m. in the conference room upstairs. Travis referred to the Human Relations Commission. They do meet this coming Thursday, January 9th at 7 p.m. in the large conference room here at City Hall. And we talked a little bit earlier about Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That is not a government holiday for the city of Vermillion, so your next city council meetings are on Monday, January 20th.
Thank you, John. Any comments or questions for our city manager? Seeing none, we'll turn to Stump Mike with invoices payable. Any questions you have on the invoices? Motion is second to pay our bills. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no consensus agenda, Steve. Well, that's too bad. Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We're adjourned. Thank you.